Our read aloud today is The Old Willis Place by Mary Downing Hahn. It's a suspenseful fiction novel. Okay, so we're about halfway through the book at this point. And the main characters are Diana and Georgie, two young children who live in the woods by themselves, and also a caretaker and his daughter Lissa, who are watching over the grounds of an old abandoned home. And so far the plot centers around the two girls and their friendship, and it's starting to develop at this point. The young girl who lives in the woods really wants to be friends with this girl named Lissa. A few minutes later, Lissa grabbed my arm and pointed. There he is, see him? In the field. At the sound of Lissa's voice, Georgie turned and looked back at us. In his loincloth and war paint, his hair matted with burrs and feathers, he really did look like a wild creature, small and fierce among the towering goldenrod and thistles. "Georgie!" I cried. "Georgie!" Instead of answering back, he ran toward the shelter of the trees. "Come back!" I shouted. "Don't run off!" "Traitor!" he screamed over his shoulder. "Liar!" What is a traitor? What is a traitor? And why is that important here? Traitor. What's a traitor?
Well, a traitor is like someone who maybe says they're going to do something or something like that, but then they go back on their promise.
Yeah, someone who goes back on their promise. Okay.
Like it's on one side and then goes to the other side.
Okay. Someone who maybe turns their back.
Yeah.
Traitor is an important word here. We're looking for the subtle meaning of that word because friendship and having each other's backs and being able to trust people is a huge theme in this book. With Lissa at my heels, I chased Georgie across the field and into the woods. He ducked and dodged under vines and around trees, flashing in and out of sunlight, his war paint blending into the woods like camouflage. At last I caught him and pinned him against a tree, holding him fast. "Will you please listen to me?" I shouted. "It's okay to be friends with Lissa. She won't tell anyone about us. She's promised." "Your parents will never know you broke the rules," Lissa added. Georgie frowned at me, obviously puzzled. "Our parents? What do they—" With my back to Lissa, I pressed one finger to my lips, warning him. "It's okay, we can trust her, honest." I felt Georgie's body relax a little. His breathing slowly returned to normal, but he was clearly upset. "Let me go," he grumbled. I stepped back and dropped my hands to my sides. He and Lissa studied each other silently for several moments, as if neither was sure what to make of the other. Lissa spoke first, a little hesitantly. "I know you're mad at Diana and me," she said. "But can't we be friends, Georgie?" He scowled. "I don't need friends, and neither does Diana. We have each other." Okay, so what feeling might Georgie be having here? And Lissa and her relationship with Diana. What could be going on here? Anna?
He might be feeling betrayal. Diana said she wouldn't talk to Lissa, and she did.
Betrayal. What else? What other feeling? What other feeling?
Angry.
Anger. Okay. We've got a few people in this group here all competing for what? What are they all competing for here? Say it.
Friendship.
Friendship. So what could be another feeling here going through Georgie's mind? Anger, betrayal, Aiden?
Jealousy.
Jealousy. Okay, so that's an example of one of the themes or social themes that we like to talk about too, to talk about events and things that the students go through as well. So jealousy and competition for friendship. He gave me a nasty look and began stripping leaves from a spiny little bush. The feathers in his hair quivered. "If you want to be her friend," he muttered, "go right ahead. Get in trouble, see if I care. But you can't make me be friends with her." "He's had a bad temper," I told Lissa, "from the very day he was born. I'd heard Mother laugh about Georgie's rages, but I never found them particularly amusing. Now I was downright embarrassed. Foolish as it sounded, I'd actually hoped he'd like Lissa. So what other kind of issue does Georgie have here? His bad temper, his rages, what problem does that indicate? If you've got a bad temper and you rage all the time, what do you think that means? Bad temper and raging. Bad temper and raging. What do you think, Anna? Bad temper and raging. What kind of problem might he have?
Selfish?
Well, what does he have trouble controlling? Anger issues. Okay, good. Anger issues. Okay, so Again, another example of issues that students are also dealing with. She's letting us keep Lassie till I finish reading it to you. I told Georgie, thinking he might be pleased. I hate that book. He yanked more leaves from the bush. Give it back to her. Georgie, he threw a shower of leaves at me. She can have her ugly bear, too. Georgie finally made Lissa mad. Fine, she yelled. Give me my things right now. If you don't, I'll tell my father who stole them. See, Diana, I warned you not to trust her, Georgie cried in triumph. She's a liar. Lissa backed away from us, her hand covering her mouth as if she wanted to unsay what she just said. I didn't mean it. I won't tell Dad. Honest. She began to cry. Just give me my bear, please. Georgie, I said softly. Lissa's mother gave her the bear before she died. It's very special to her. Big crybaby. I said she could have it, didn't I? He turned and ran into the woods. Wait right there. I'll get her stuff. Lissa and I sat on a fallen tree and listened to Georgie crash off through the underbrush. A breeze sprang up and tugged more leaves from the trees. They pattered down around us like raindrops. I'm sorry, Lissa wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I was trying so hard to be nice. I thought he'd be nice too, but when he wasn't, I got mad. It's all right, but I really wasn't sure it was. What if something made Lissa mad again? Would she tell her father after all? But how could I send her away? Lissa was my friend now. It was so nice to sit behind her with the leaves drifting down around us. There had to be a way to make things right between her and my brother. So what's more important to Diana right now, do you think? What's more important to her? Ashley?
The friendship between them.
The friendship between them. And, you know, so she's putting her friend before her brother, her family. After a few minutes, George